Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Law&Crime. I'm Jesse Weber, and happy Halloween to everyone out there. Today I'm dressed up like a real host, just like Aaron Keller, so bear with me on this one day. We have a lot to get through. Let's get started. Okay, this is major. I want to bring in Terri Austin to break this down. Terri, good morning to you. It's great to have you here on Law&Crime again. I don't even know what to make of this. Where do we go from here? It's not like just one person came forward with a conspiracy theory here. This is Dr. Michael Baden. He is a renowned pathologist who is particularly renowned here in the New York community as well for his work. And this claim can't be ignored. And even though the chief medical examiner has come forward and released a statement saying she still goes by her initial findings, what does this tell you? Where do we go from here?
Jesse, I think the most important thing is that because there is some conflicting information here, it still needs to be investigated. I don't think we should stop at, well, this was a suicide. If there's any evidence, and I think Dr. Baden, from a layperson's perspective, what he found makes complete sense. And because of that, I really do think we have an obligation to interview people at the jail and to make sure that this was not a murder. So I think the implication is the fact that we have to look further into what exactly happened for the family and for all of society to know what did happen. Was this a suicide or was this a murder?
Let me ask you this. Obviously, Jeffrey Epstein's case is more public than any other ones out there. I mean, there's a reason for it. Having said that, do you, in your experience, have you seen this discrepancy between two medical professionals about a cause of death, one saying suicide, one saying homicide, where you have a case like this? Because we see medical experts all the time, maybe in a trial, talk about certain different details about wounds and injuries, but something this drastic, to say one is more consistent with suicide, one is more consistent with homicide. Have you ever seen anything like that?
Well, when you have a high case like this, and Dr. Baden has been called in on other high-profile cases, I think it behooves us to make sure that we have all of the answers. And also, Jesse, the family here has the wherewithal, the money to investigate and get their own individual can have a opinion about what exactly happened. So I think it is unusual. I think most people do take the word of the medical examiner here, but I think in cases where the family can afford to have their own separate investigation, that will occur, right, especially when it's such a high profile case.
Terri, now that we have this development, in light of all of the things we were learning about the jail and how there was a break in procedure and things that were maybe not done according to the way they should have been done. I mean, Linda touched upon it a little bit when she was talking to Dr. Baden. Who investigates this now? How does it change the investigation? Do different agencies get involved? I know that William Barr, Attorney General William Barr, had first announced that it would be investigated. So where do we go from here in terms of the investigation point of view?
Well, theoretically, the criminal system could investigate itself, but I've seen reports that said that they're not going to pursue that further, that they are going to rely on the medical examiner's report. But absolutely, the federal authorities, the FBI, could get involved in this and form their own conclusions based on their interviews, et cetera. I haven't seen that has happened as yet, but I do think because we have this testimony from, Dr. Baden that he thinks that it could have very well been murder, I do believe that the federal authorities should get involved and should pursue this investigation further.
If anybody's new to this case and is just starting to learn more about Jeffrey Epstein, the question they're going to ask is who would have done this and why would they have done this? What are some of the things you might be hearing out there, and who would have the mechanism to make this happen?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. Some of the conspiracy theories are that because he harmed so many young girls in this whole criminal scheme that he had in terms of, the sex trafficking, that a lot of people would want to hurt him and would want him out of the picture. And behind bars, the individuals who are most at risk are the sex offenders, particularly as it relates to young children. So I think people are thinking that behind bars, he's not safe and that he could have been subject to other people behind bars hurting him. And I think that's the primary theory out there right now.
This is disturbing to talk about nonetheless. My gosh, what a development that is, and probably haven't heard the end of it. So we'll keep you updated more on Epstein, maybe talk about it later on in the program. When we come back, we're going to focus on Nicholas Cruz because he has a hearing this upcoming Friday. Stay tuned.